Hey everyone, it's Maria. I hope you guys had a great Halloween if you celebrate, or just in general are enjoying fall. So it's November now, so I have a lot of books here in front of me for us to go through that I'm hoping to read this month. So let's address the elephant in the room. I did not finish this book. This is Thinking Fast and Slow by Danielle Kahneman. I didn't finish it, and neither did I finish this one either, Wuthering Heights by the Miss Emily Bronte. And you know what? I kind of thought it was a lofty goal. This one has been actually really difficult for me to slog through. I finally got, I think, a third of the way through it, and it started picking up for me because it's a romance. Makes it doubly hard, but I am kind of determined just to get through it. I'm not a quitter, so I'm going to get through this. I think it'll get better, but that is my classic for the month. I'm really trying to get through it. And then this is still my nonfiction for the month. And it's really interesting. I just haven't had the capacity in my brain to learn something and to sit down and really go through this and learn it. I think it's really well written. Because it is talking about your different systems in your brain and how you think, and how they obviously impact your everyday decision making. But also, it's just written in a way like there's two characters, and how it describes each of the systems really makes it easier to understand. I would say Wuthering Heights was just, you know, the Bronte sisters and Jane Austen, they're so wordy. I was that kid that was like, I'm gonna love Jane Austen. Look, I don't got time for that. It's too many words, but I'm trying to enjoy it for what it is, so we'll see how that goes. So with that said, those are the books that I consider more difficult to get through. Now we get to the fun ones. So these are kind of ones, I have two here specifically that I bought because I've seen them on TikTok. I've seen them on YouTube. I've seen them on Instagram, and I'm a sucker for cool covers. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but like all young adult fantasy fiction books, like all have very similar covers. So no wonder why. I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. This looks really cool. It's because they all kind of look the same. I'll insert a clip. I was just at Barnes and Noble's, and I was like, these all look the same. But I digress. So I did pick up Serpent and Dove. So I have heard really great things about this. It's a series. And I thought it was interesting because, you know, a witch and a witch hunter married together. I don't know, it sounds interesting. Like that seems like my kind of jam, like an easy read. There's like a love story in here, but it sounds like it might be like enemies to lovers kind of thing. And so why not? It's by Shelby Maharin. So, you know, Sarah Moss said that she liked it, and she wrote A Court of Thorn and Roses, and I actually really, for the most part, love that series. So I'm going to go with a recommendation on this, and I'll let you guys know if it's worth your time. And then look at this. Tell me these covers do not seem similar to you. Like we have snake, dragon, gold, sans serif or serif fonts. I'm just saying, very similar. I'm a sucker for hardback, like I said, and a good cover. So this is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. And I was excited to pick this up, one, because it's an Asian writer, and being Filipino, I'm always looking to support, you know, my fellow Asians in, you know, the arts and the sciences and all that stuff. So I'm excited for this. And it looks good. I mean, it's basically, it says Romeo and Juliet. It's like a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, set in 1926 in Shanghai, and it's like the 20s. So there's like a flapper girl in here. There's gangs, you know, a tale of two hearts that just can't be together. I mean, I'm not mad at that, right? I mean, it says, let's see, Chloe Gong's These Violent Delights cuts to the heart of the 20th century China with its scalpel-sharp prose and steel-spirited protagonist. So I'm all about writing that is to the point. I am a huge fan of Hemingway, so anything that is like to the point, concise, but still gets the feeling across. Having really good diction is something that I am really a fan of, so that sounded really good. And also it just says, you know, they use words like glitz and glamour. Like, who doesn't want to do that, especially, you know, going into the new year? Like, come on. So those are the two that I bought because of Bookstagram Book Talk. They were on literally the Book Talk display at Barnes and Nobles, and so I mean, they must be popular, right? But while I was there, I also found this book. It's called The 10,000 Doors of January. Also, these covers, I mean, I don't know, they just seem very similar to me. Everything's black, everything's moody. So it's a national bestseller. It says it's by Alex Harrow. I don't know, and it got to me. It just said on the back here, a gorgeous, aching love letter to stories, storytellers, and the doors they lead us through. Absolutely enchanting. And like I was just like, all right, I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories. I love stories. So, you know, give me this love letter. Let me like learn more about this. And like a lot of people say, it's like rich and poignant, angry and beautiful. It's a love letter to imagination. I mean, it's all pretty words of a fantastical journey of self-discovery that reveals the true power of our imaginations. Unbearably beautiful. Come on. Who doesn't want to read something that is like unbearably beautiful? You know what I mean? Like, so I have picked this up. As I was checking out, they were like, I've heard really great things about this, but I haven't really seen anyone talk about it. So I don't know. I'm excited. Maybe it's something that people haven't really been talking about. I don't know. It's a national bestseller, so someone's been talking about it. And it's just, it seems like it's going to be a really good read. So there's that. Obviously, I'm reading Dune. So here's the thing with Dune. And this will lead into my next book too. I am kind of a fan of sci-fi. I feel like I don't see a lot of sci-fi-esque stuff on like Instagram, specifically like popular Bookstagram, Book Talk, BookTube, whatever you want to call it. You just like don't see a lot of that. And so I was like, I kind of want to read this book before the movie came out. Well, it is November 2nd and the movie came out October 22nd, so I'm a little behind. But I think it'll be interesting to see, because usually you read a book and then you watch the movie and you're disappointed. So I think I watched the movie. I really thought it was great because I had nothing to compare it to. I thought, you know, it was beautiful. The landscape was beautiful. The people in it were great. So I think it's only going to be a win-win to then read it, because I started reading it and I was like, is this going to be too much? I will say I don't know, only like 30 or 40 pages in. I'm glad I watched the movie first, in the sense that some of this makes more sense to me, because Mr. Frank Harper just dives in, okay? He's just like throwing out names, languages, customs, and cultural things of cultural significance in this series that he doesn't explain to you. So much so that he must have realized people won't get it, that there is literally a terminology in the back. So if you're like, oh, what the heck is, you know, the even, it's a prefix meaning nominated. Like, it literally is a terminology, which honestly has been really helpful to me, because some of the stuff I'm just like, I don't know what that means or what that is. So it has been really helpful. I do wish there was like a pronunciation guide, because some of this, I'm like, I don't know how to pronounce that. But this even has like an appendix, like the religion of Dune, if you want to know what that is, terminology of the Imperium, the ecology of Dune. So if you're like really want to nerd out and really get involved in a world and learn more about it, I'm sure that will help you understand a lot more of what's happening in this book, just because, like I said, he'll just throw something out there like you'll know what it is. But because I don't live there, right, or have not had a prequel or anything, I don't really understand. So that's been helpful. So I'm really actually excited for this. So this is what I'm reading first. Because I was going to read it last month, but I couldn't even get through those two other books over there. So, you know, I'm not gonna stew on that. It's fine. So, but that leads me to this book, which is Dragonflight by Miss Anne McCaffrey. And I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's also under sci-fi. I would say it's more fantasy. I would say there's parts of this series that is probably a little more sci-fi. It is this tiny book. I don't remember. I've read this before. Sorry, let me back up. So I have read this before. The book that I read before was like a beautiful cover. It was so colorful, and I thought it was just like honestly a lot bigger. Like this book, very small. But I kind of really miss what the other one looked like. And the thing is, I had this book, but someone stole it from me. So this is, if you like dragons and you want to get on the world of Pern, this is for you. I loved this series. One, the lead in this, like, she's kind of like, you know, rags to riches, right? They find this girl and then they're like, oh, you know, you in this world, you match yourself with dragons. And so dragon riders have this, like, they kind of imprint on you. And then you are bonded. Similar to Aragon-esque. I haven't read that book in a while, but very similar. And so, you know, this girl goes from being like a servant to, you know, having a dragon. And the dragon that she has is the gold dragon, which is like the coveted queen dragon, right? Think of like a hive of bees, like she's the queen. And how she then goes on to help battle against the issues that Pern is having. It's one of those books that I wish I could read for the first time again. I would recommend this book. Having read it, I would recommend this book. And then the last one is this guy, and it is that I have this as a physical book, is In Cold Blood by Truman Capote. And it is a literary nonfiction book. Girl, I had to Google that. I was like, what is literary nonfiction? What does that even mean? The person who picked this is one of the smartest people in my book club. And I think she's so smart. And so she was like, let's read this book. And I was like, what is that? You know? And I found out that is basically like a true, right? A nonfiction story. So it's a true story that's written in the way of like a narrative to make it more of a story. So it's written like a fiction story. So it's not necessarily like an article, but it is about, you know, an actual event that happened. And so from what I gathered, this is a story that is about an actual murder that happened. In Kansas. And so it's like the very first kind of true crime book that came out and put it on the map, right? It came out and it made a huge splash and people were like, oh wow, right? And now we see true crime podcasts and books, and Netflix and Hulu and HBO have made a killing on that. I mean, Lifetime was doing that, right? And there's something about true crime that really captivates people. So, you know, it's kind of like when that podcast came out. Shoot, what was it called? With Anon? Oh my God. Adnan? What was that called? I'll have to look it up. And I'll put it up here if I remember what it was called. But then all of a sudden, you know, true crime podcasts were everywhere. But I'm really excited about this. I'm excited to talk to my book club girls about it. It'll be fun. It's different than what we usually read. I'm also going to have I think listening to 2 more books, right? And so one is One by One by Ruth Ware. Let me see if I can pull it up. Maybe I'll put it on the screen back here. Give me 1 second. So it's One by One by Ruth Ware. You can see I'm essentially almost done with it. I love all Ruth Ware books. I mean, I think I really only listen to them. So this is actually told from 2 alternating perspectives, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ruth Ware. She has a ton of books. They're all like mystery, murder, thrillers. So there's always, you know, a killer. Someone's out here dying, right? And this one is like this tech company goes up on a ski trip. And, you know, they're rich, they're entitled, a buyout's gonna happen, and suddenly everyone starts dying. So I'm going to do that one. I'm going to finish up that one, and then I'm going to try The Night She Disappeared. On a beautiful summer night in an English suburb, a young woman and her boyfriend disappear. 1 year later, a writer moves into a cottage on the edge of the woods that border the same estate, known locally as the Dark Place. The dense forest is the writer's favorite area. And so I think the writer is trying to uncover what happened. And with her signature rich, dark, and intricately twisted prose. And that came from Ruth Ware, right? And I love Ruth. So we'll see how this one goes. It actually reminds me of, at least the synopsis reminds me of a Ruth Ware novel that I listened to. Which one was it? In a Dark, Dark Wood, I believe. Love that book. Loved it. But this is the collection for November. I'm hoping to get through it. I think I can. I'm actually really hopeful. Last month, I was kind of like, This month, I'm excited. So I'm going to start with Dune. Right, I'm going to start with Dune. I'm going to finish one by one. I'm going to definitely sprinkle in, you know, my nonfiction book and then my classic book too in there somehow. I mean, I'm really going to try to get through Miss Bronte over here. But honestly, that might just be in my didn't finish pile. I hate doing that. I really hate doing that. But I'm going to do it. I own that book. I should read it. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta start going to the library because books are expensive. So anyway, thanks for stopping by. Let me know what you're reading for this month. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.